Gemini Venus, what happens? Gemini Venus, what happens when curiosity is what leads you into initiatives to connect with other people who were not within the 15-mile radius of your world, who were not necessarily from the background of your third house? As you can see already, Venus comes to present opportunity to cure and heal our conclusive findings, our conclusive outcomes with the polarized disposition we took, starting with Mars retrograde in Gemini 2022-23, North Node Aries, South Node Libra. Okay? I've been mentioning this probably for as long as I started to decide to do astrology on videos. Okay? There's a few people out there who followed me through all of my channels, okay? Because I've had I think this is probably my fourth channel where I started it and ended it, but each time I've been talking about South Node Libra. I have always been talking about South Node Libra, okay? You have to, and this is the Gemini aspect of myself, being a Gemini Mars Kazemi, is that I'm very good at picking up on patterns. And you've got to put all of the timeline pieces together. You can't just look isolated in astrology. You can't just look at one event. You just can't look at one situation. You have to look how all of it dances together. Okay? And with that being said, what's beginning and what's ending? What are we healing? How does this correlate to the other thing? That's another thing about Gemini in the third house is relationships. It's your first relationships outside of yourself. Okay, third house is first relationships outside of yourself. That's usually with your siblings. Usually. Siblings, neighbors, people whose faces you see often, people who know your first name and last name, that little 15-mile radius, And so this is you stepping outside of that familiar reality that you found security in, that you found comfort in, that little world, okay? And we know the polarized agendas that's been working of, conservative and liberal, Democrat and Republican, right and left, blue and red, girl versus boy. Okay, we have been polarized terribly, okay, in this world, and that's the duality of it, the polarization. But the wisdom of it is that it's a learning catalyst. The love in it is, it's a healing opportunity if we have the bravery to be honest about what we have been seeing, what we learn, what we experience, what we come to realize from our own perspective and from others' perspectives. And being able to have the humility to admit that, guess what? Everybody's right. Everybody. Everybody's right and everybody's wrong at the same damn time. Everybody. There is no side to choose. There is no side to vote for. But there is truth that we can't be afraid to align with and side with. We're supposed to side with truth. We're supposed to side with justice. Not any person. Not any affiliation. Not any class or race or gender. And that learning catalyst of polarization and duality, it allowed us to learn the things that gives us enough wisdom and consistency with truth to be able to get to the wisdom and love that is on the other side of the duality, because that is the whole function of Gemini, through relationships. So Venus wants to attract those learning catalysts through relationships into your life. You're going to find that you're connecting to people that would probably be, in appearance, a contradiction to your own fundamentals and beliefs and convictions. Someone from the other side of the aisle. Someone from the other end of the perspective. What this looks like, and I'll probably say this again, because I'm going to compile different pieces as I recorded at different times. You're traveling down a dirt road. Okay, you're this hardcore conservative. You're traveling down the dirt road. You got your MAGA hat on and, and all this other stuff, your 1776 sticker. You blow a tire and a blue-haired liberal white girl comes to help you. Okay, she knows the area. She's very nice to you. She's very kind. There's a natural chemistry between you. Okay, where you can do nothing but respect it. And she calls her uncle or her brother to come and help you out of the ditch or whatever that you fell into and stuff like that. And, you start chatting and find that you have a lot in common. And even though you have your views and she has your views, you're able to discuss or interchange those views and perspectives from a Gemini disposition, which is out of curiosity. Let's talk about this. Out of curiosity, out of discovery, out of examination. And that Uranus begins lightning storms as that takes place. And those lightning storms lead you to the embodiment of wisdom, which is you met your ego. You met your ego. You met disillusionment through conversation with this blue-haired white girl. And I'm using blue-haired white girl as, a symbol for, liberal white women. You understand? And you're met with truth. And the truth that you're met with is, I'm no different than this person. There are beliefs and there's backgrounds that gives that girl that perspective, and that gives me my perspective, but I'm no more right than she is, and I'm no more wrong than she is. I have my toxic injuries that led me to what I'm claiming. She has her toxic injuries that led her to what she's claiming, and I have some healed things about myself that has me to see the light that she can't see, and she sees the light that I can't see. It's one of those moments of equality where equality manifests. And if we're able to be watchful of our egos, and take advantage of the opportunity, healing accelerates. Wisdom gets closer, love gets closer. So Venus very well could do this in your life. Expansion of view, because in polarity, Sagittarius, the view gets expanded. Also, in reverse, the expansive view that you have, Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius, the suppressed, expansive expression that you would like to allow yourself, can contain the fact that you would like to go outside of that gate and take curiosity into the territory where you have already vilified a whole group or whole segment, demographic, or gender of people. And you're afraid to go into that gate and sit down with them, have conversations with them, be friends with them, or interact with them, collaborate with them. Because the truth inside of yourself tells you that there's something good about connecting, regardless of different fundamental beliefs and races and genders and all these other different things. And that sets the precedence, the basis for which details arrive. That encourages you to do that. Details arrive through Gemini. That allows you to act on, to feel empowered to act on that expansive urge that you have at Black Moon Lilith Sagittarius. Someone mentioned earlier Pluto Vision. Shout out to Pluto Vision about the generation who has Pluto at Sagittarius in opposition to this. Pluto in opposition. This is to. It's along the same line as what I'm describing, but what it is that. The generation of Pluto, of Sagittarius Pluto, sees through the illusions of religious ideologies and ideals. And religious ideas and ideologies is not just the limitations of Christianity, Islam, and and Judaism. It also is to see the truth when it comes to limitations in dogmatism, dogmatic views. To see that It's not benefiting us to be limited to fears, domination, control, and religious ignorance that stops us from expanding. Okay? And on the other side of that, Venus in Gemini, it brings persons into the life who really needs that aspect of yourself to free them from such limitations and beliefs, to empower them from where they've been disempowered by religious dogmas. Religious dogmas can also be, like going to the extreme with your conservative views or your liberal views. That's the same thing, is that I see through all of this. All of it is bullshit. All of it is self-righteous bullcrap. And it's seeing through self-righteousness, okay? It's seeing the foolery in self-righteousness. And it's saying, you know what? It's better to just be human. It's better to just be yourself than to pretend to be self-righteous. Stop the self-righteousness. Because all of you are acting. All of you are fronting. And this generation of the Sagittarius Pluto will be called to show dualistic views. This generation helps them to expand their awareness of the hard or harsh truths that dissolves the assumption of self-righteousness. They point that out. They bring them face to face with the contradictions in themselves and claims of being so righteous and high and mighty and better than everybody else. And that's with any and all affiliation. So when you run into that generation will expose you. They will tell you about yourself, that you're no better than that person. You're no better than that person. Well, I don't know what makes you so righteous just because you're this, you claim to be this Muslim, this Christian, this conservative, this Democrat, this liberal. All of these titles, all of these categories, all of these things, it's a hiding place for you to suppress your shadows. It's a hiding place to suppress who you really are. And there's corruption under there. There's lies under there. There's perversion under there. And I see it. And all of us have it. So who do you think you're fooling? That's what that generation does. It presents them with that. And it's a humbling moment because Pluto has to be involved. That's what gets the person on the other end of that perspective, they're disillusioned by that. All right, yeah, you got me. I know. Damn, okay. Just like I point out to you, conservatives are identified already as the main patrons to pornography. Okay? Main patrons to the main ones who go on record in pedophilia. Come to find out, they subscribe to SNAP benefits and food stamps more than liberals. They benefited from, conservative white women benefited from DEI more than the liberals who they were blaming for it. So it's that generation of Sagittarius Pluto where people hide behind righteous legacies that have kept them safe from examination and exposure and truth being held up to them. That generation puts them on notice that, look, we see who you really are. We see what's really going on. Y'all ain't fooling nobody. I mean, yeah, the headlines say this, the headlines say that. You're hiding behind traditional ideals. You're hiding behind legacy lies. You're hiding behind illusions and legacies. You're hiding behind fictitious stories and narratives. But the truth is this and that, and it's a moment of not humiliation, but it's a humbling effect that has the person to examine themselves and say, oh damn, I thought I thought I was in position to point my finger, but I'm not. All right, let me pipe down and look into this. And this is where the healing takes place, because that's truth that makes the bridge to love. That's the truth that gets to the love. It's also the truth that gets to the wisdom, which heals the duality crisis. All right, Venus and Gemini, first of all, under Uranus instructions or Uranus influence, Venus wants to connect you to variety of perspectives that teaches you how to find your way out of dualities that prevent you from connecting to the experience of love. The dualities in experience of relationships that prevents you from connecting with opportunity of love has a lot to do with our ability to align at the 8th house with truth in relationships and the authority that appropriates power dynamics in relationships. And Uranus is the one that handles that. And a lot of this has to do with realizing there's a lot of room to negotiate when there's freedom, autonomy, connection instead of attachment, where who you are, you're free to be who you are, and I'm free to be who I am. And it doesn't burden me to allow you to be who you are, and it doesn't burden you for me to allow me to be who I am, as long as we are transparent about what we expect or what we intend when we contract. You understand? So it's releasing the control and assumptions, the entitlement, the obsession of control and expectations that you are here to make me happy, you are here to make me secure, you are here to make me emotionally stable. No, you're not. I'm here to do that for me. What vision do you have? What vision do I have? What makes me curious about you? What makes you curious about me? How can you expand my understanding? How can I can do the same? What can we accomplish together? Okay, this is the air-like nature of the Gemini, Aquarius, Uranus, and Pluto effect with Venus that Venus is hosting. And Venus wants to introduce you with people who come from different worlds than you do, different aisles of the perspective than you do, people who bring duality into your life through relationships so that you could realize that unification is possible with anyone. Okay, you might be a person who's diehard conservative, and Venus brings a liberal person who perfects your view of love. Okay, you might be a person who says, I don't know, you come from an Asian family, and never talk to those black people, and all of a sudden you start, you get connected to a black person who seems to be the perfect person who understands and embraces your vision, and you just get each other, even though you're from totally different worlds or whatever else. It may seem like a duality. How can this possibly work? There's no way. Okay, so duality is presented, and it becomes a catalyst by which Uranus teaches you how to find your way out of the loop that prevents you from love and the fear that you have with losing your authority through alignment with truth. Understand that. And all of this has to take place through 8th house and Pluto algorithms. I will talk about that throughout this discourse. All right, before we go into all of this duality is teaching us two things. In circumstantial is teaching us wisdom. Relationship is teaching us love. Duality has to teach us that because wisdom and love are in the depth of things. It's in the depth of matters. So we have to have depth in experience, depth in insight, depth in transformation to arrive at wisdom or love. Wisdom, things, love, relationships. Understand that. And this is resolving the conflict of interest between the heart and the head. The conflict in perspective from the heart and the head. The 1st house and the 5th house. Leo and Aquarius. Okay? These different aspects of the self. There is conflict. There seems to be crisis. There seems to be difference that cannot be resolved or reconciliated. So the 8th house is where the transformation of these power dynamics takes place, so that harmonization can be realized in that triplicity of Scorpio, which includes Pisces and Cancer. we realize that by being true to the inner child, we are already within range of wisdom and love always. Because that oracle will cast instruction in how to remain under the umbrella of wisdom and love if we should show obedience to its convictions within the gut and intuition and conscience, that is. When it comes to Pisces, it's arriving at the universality, in which Pisces presents duality in spirit the same way that Gemini presents duality in earthly circumstances that can be read through intelligence and mathematics, through names or classifications of things. So when you bring these two dualities together, of course, Pisces allows us to see universality in all things. Universality is a unifying observation, perception, and conclusion that comes after the transformative subjugation of the self to the Scorpio algorithm of life and Pluto. Therefore, fake motherfuckers will never know about this. Bitch ass niggas who can't deal with the truth will never understand this. If you a bitch, you won't know. Too bad, cause you a bitch. You soft, you a little bitch, so you won't never know about this. You won't never understand this. Love is not for you. Wisdom is not for you, cause you a bitch. I'm sorry, ain't no other way I can say it. That cuts all the extra words and all the extra tape that would get wasted in this recording. If you a bitch, you won't know nothing about it. So shut your bitch ass up, cause you don't need to know about wisdom, and you don't need to know about love, cause you a bitch. So shut your bitch ass up and stay in duality. Alright, so Gemini Uranus is going to take what seems to be unrelated, and it's going to show you the connection between systems and infrastructures that have been affecting you and your personal authority, your autonomy, and where your consent was lost within the confusion and how these systems were woven in between each other and dressed with illusions. Uranus wants to return authority back to you. It wants you to be in command of your will, your identity, your purpose, the evolution of your soul's journey. That can happen if you are within limitation of the inner rings of Saturn, where whenever it comes time to decode, demystify, interpret, or explain an event, an experience, a situation, you're always looking to other people to come up with the answers. You're always looking to find agreement with the crowd, with a fraternity, with an order, a sisterhood or a brotherhood. You're looking to express loyalty instead of consistency and alignment with truth. It goes along the line of this where, again, I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm only going to get louder about it. Females in Western and American society have a shared conviction in themselves that you're supposed to be a girl's girl, and no matter what, you take the girl's side, you do what favors the girl's image, you do what favors the girl's reputation, regardless of whether something is true, regardless of whether something is right, you side with the girl. You side with the women. Uranus teaches us to side with truth. Did you hear that? Uranus teaches us to side with truth, regardless of who it flatters, regardless of who it seems to compliment, regardless of who it seems to show support to. Uranus teaches us to take the side of truth. The truth may go against that person's public image and what people thought of them, their reputation, their legacy, their brand, their influence, their power, their leverage, their status. But you still stick with the truth because you found reason to align with truth through Uranus. Understand that. So this is sincerity. It's not the disingenuous spirit that women of the West has cast as a spell over the society. That it's not about what's right or wrong, true or false, good or bad. It's about what side you are taking. And that's where we go wrong at. That's the duality. The duality is that you already have a presumption, you already have an assumption that no matter what the evidence, no matter what the proof, no matter what's said or explained, no matter what I come to learn in this observation or research or whatever else, I'm going to take the side of black people. I'm going to take the side of white people. I'm going to take the side of females. I'm going to take the side of men. I'm going to take the side of liberals. I'm going to take the side of conservatives. I don't care what evidence there is. I don't care what proof there is. I don't care what's said or what. I'm going to find a way to justify reason to support the side that I side with. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is how we came to corrupt our world. That's how we became enemies individually of truth. Right there. That's how we became wicked, dishonest, untrustworthy. That's how we sell our souls. And that's also how we enable the worst out of each other. That's how we express hatred while we think that we're expressing love. Hatred for the very ones who you're pretending to cover, protect, and show loyalty to, because if you love them, you will correct them. If you love them, you will keep them in the alignment and grace of truth. It's active hatred. Gemini is showing us through these dualities of where we think that we have to pick sides or choose sides. That truth is the side that we have to pick. This is not to be mistaken for the passive aggressive or the passive nature, again, that females demonstrate of riding the damn fence. You can't choose right or wrong, good or bad, true or false. You have to ride the fence because you think that's safe. You think it's safe to sit on the fence and cross your arms and play righteous. Sit on your moral high horse. Oh, I'm not going to choose either sides. I see both sides, actually. I see both sides. I see both perspectives. Well, I think we all need to get along. I think we all need to we need to be nicer to each other. These are the wicked motherfuckers that hide under moral illusions. The moral high ground, the moral high horse. Frauds. That's what you call cowards who put on costumes of peacemakers, who pretend to be peacemakers. These are the worst motherfuckers. These are the very ones when you are looking at a relationship conflict and you see two people having a hard time. And you look at the person who has veins popping out of their neck, they're yelling, they're screaming, they're upset, they're frustrated. And you see the other person sitting there quiet, not saying anything. And you would make the mistake of assuming and concluding that the one who's yelling is the one who's wrong. You, with your simple, feeble-minded ass, you would come to that conclusion before gathering evidence, before discovering what took place, what happened. Because you live in an idea of polarization, of dualities. You are observing through duality. And duality says, if one person appears to be the aggressor and the other person is standing there in what appears to be a peacemaker or passive, obviously that's the problem. No, it's not obvious. And this is why Gemini always has to rise to either wisdom or love. Because with wisdom, you see through illusions. With wisdom, you see things for what they are, not as it presents itself to be. With wisdom, you see through the presentation of a thing. You understand that presentation is not evidence. Presentation is not proof. It is face value. And what goes under that is part of what helps us to arrive at conclusive understandings. And that's why Gemini has to rise from duality to wisdom, or else you will miss what you need to gather justice, to claim truth. Wisdom or love? Wisdom. This teaches us that wisdom now becomes the value, because without wisdom, everything remains duality. It's an assumption that men in society, oh, they're so violent, they're out to get us. Oh, we're in danger. The men hide, run and hide. But only with wisdom can you see the weapon of females. Only with wisdom can you see the artillery of females. Only with wisdom can you see how females go to war, how females oppress, how females abuse, how females injure, how females cause corruption and oppression. Only with wisdom can you see that. With duality, your feeble, simple-minded ass, you will continue to see the same patterns that they want you to see, because it gives the results that keeps them at the advantage and you at the disadvantage. I'm a Gemini. Mars Kazemi Gemini. And it's the reason why my views, my perspectives, which is only a mustard seed of the truth. It's not even a mustard seed, but it's enough to have us to realize that we haven't been thinking. We've been assuming. We've been going with the flow. We've been staying safe behind status quo. We haven't been thinking. We gave up our ability, our power to think. We stopped thinking. You cannot see women without wisdom. You cannot understand women without wisdom. You cannot clarify or interpret the behaviors, the actions, the ways, the motives, the patterns of females without wisdom. And this timeline is about females. Above all things, it's about females. Regardless of who fucking likes it, it's about females. And it may frustrate you that you don't have the wisdom to keep up with that observation. But whose problem is that? It doesn't take wisdom to see a man. We're ruled by Mars. What you see is what you get. We are linear. Left, right, up, down. Direct current. What we say is exactly what we mean. There's nothing else to interpret. Verbatim. You ask us what we want to eat? Very easy. I want, I don't know, I want some chicken wings and some fucking hot sauce. We don't take forever to figure out what outfit to put on. We're very linear. We're simple. It takes wisdom to see women. And as we allow ourselves to see life through wisdom and not just simple observation, we will finally see women. We will finally notice women. We will finally understand women. We will finally have the ability to connect with women. We will properly empower women, not corrupt them. But this changes everything in how we have been concluding. To become a proper judge. Some of you are worried how you judge between your children. We're not arguing and going back and forth between each other. Some of you simple-minded motherfuckers, you will look at your kids and you will fail to use wisdom to look at what the fuck is going on. And you'll come to your conclusion and the damage that it would do to that child for the rest of their life because your lazy, feeble-minded ass failed to draw upon wisdom to conclude or to come to a judgment or ruling. Wisdom. This is about wisdom, and this is going to expose who really has wisdom or not. Who has wisdom? Fuck your quotes, your Google searches, your regurgitation, your AI, chat GPT downloads and screen print, click and paste. Do you know how to think? Do you have wisdom? Do you have clarity of heart and spirit to access wisdom? Wisdom is an outcome of Scorpio. If you can't hang with Scorpio, you can't hang with Pluto, you will never know wisdom. You'll only know trauma, pain, defensiveness, insecurity, accusation, suspicion. All of these things. Why? Because you can't make it through the full term of Scorpio, the full process of Pluto. So you stay traumatized. And everything you look at is fear-based, fear-interpreted. When it comes to power dynamics. We got to get out of this loop. This dangerous loop of being so damn feeble-minded, so simple-minded, and just quite frankly, so fucking dumb. We have been dumbed down, and we've got to get to a point where we finally see that as a problem. To stop being so fucking stupid. Dumb motherfuckers, man. Use your fucking head. Think, for God's sake, think. Fucking think. Use this motherfucker. Your intelligence. Your wisdom. Use it. Use your wisdom. You look at one glance, you already made your mind up before you even heard the story. Oh, I'm going to side with the girl. She's crying. She's over there crying. I'm going to side with the girl. Oh, she's sitting there with mascara falling down her face and a tissue. I'm just going to, I don't care what comes out her mouth. I'm just going to go with her because I'm tired of women being abused. It makes you dumb. It makes you fucking stupid. You did the same thing with Erica Kirk with your dumb ass. It makes you very, very fucking stupid. You can't walk around life dumb. Fix it. Fucking fix it. I realize the fact that something about me that makes a lot of you feel insecure is the fact that I humanize two of your deities. Okay? There's two of your deities who are humanized. And that's part of duality as well. Seeing certain persons as gods and seeing yourself as these humans who have to stand behind these gods to have access to empowerment, to security, to status, to value, to legacy. And I'm here to expose that you have these false idols that you're clinging to. It is two false idols that I continue to name to you. The white man and the black American female. These two idols, y'all cling to them and you get upset when somebody shows you the human in them. That is just like you, that is just like me. When that human nature is exposed, when that human nature is revealed, you drop in your confidence and you feel, oh my God, you can't do this because I need to stand behind them to gain access to my idea of what I think power might be. Legacy, access, status. I'm insecure if that's not my idol in front of you. And for you females, immigrants, gay people, and trans, you look at the black American woman like your idol, like your God, like your deity. I don't give a damn what your mouth say. I don't give a damn what thoughts you're trying to form in your head to make yourself feel better. I know what's really going on in your soul. I know what's really going on. You made her your God. And it's why even while you don't understand how you got there, you copy her vernacular. When it's time to talk your shit and be defiant, disrespectful, or abusive to males. When it's time to exercise the expression of feminism, the expression of defiance, narcissism, overestimation of self, sexualization of self, objectification of self, turning self into a sex symbol, having no regard of your own womb, removing the shame, from violating what is sacred. You look to the black woman to make yourself feel better about crossing these lines between you and your inner child, crossing these lines between you and God. You look to the black woman to make you feel better about living this wicked, about living this degenerate, this shameful, this void and warp of values and morals and consideration of your womb, consideration of your family, your marriage, your children, your legacy, who you are as a woman. You look to the black woman to give you confidence to continue down that pathway that you know is dead wrong. It's not in the best interest of your soul. You know it. But you have made the black woman your God, and that is who gives you the confidence to continue doing it, because you see that she has removed all doubt in herself, and rather not, that's how she should be living. She took all shame away. She has no shame whatsoever in how she presents herself to the world. No shame. She is not shamed at all. And because she does it, you think it's okay. You think that that warrants you to do the same damn thing. You love how she glorifies, beautifies, and makes fair seeming the worst decisions that you could ever make in your life. With your womb, with your body, with your reputation, with your status as a woman. You follow right behind a black American woman, and you find all the confidence you need to be a damn devil, to be wicked, remove and void from all moral integrity in yourself, to prostitute yourself, to become an escort, vile and full of ill repute. How to destroy a family, destroy a marriage, use children as nate bombs and missiles and tripwires against a man who you couldn't keep and trap. How to talk shit and diffuse and disarm any person who comes to check you. Who gonna check me, boo, is what she like to say. You listen to her arguments, her rebuttals, her talking points to find all the confidence you need to fill your pockets up with bullets, grenades, knives, and nunchucks for whoever gonna say something about you living so damn degenerate. You look to the black woman to find out how you gonna tell somebody to shut the fuck up and mind their damn business when you want to do what the fuck you want to do, knowing that it's harmful to you. You look to the black woman to find out how to argue them and back them down. You look to the black woman to make sure that nobody can come and save you from destroying your damn self. To make sure that nobody can stop you from ruining your womb and your life and your legacy. Nobody can stop you from sexual mischief upon yourself and corruption upon yourself. A vile life with your legs open. You look to the black woman to feel good about doing things that your inner child is telling you that you shouldn't be doing. And you know it's wrong. But you have made the black woman your God. And you let her tell you that it's okay to do it, but you know God is screaming to you that, girl, you on the wrong goddamn pathway and you need to turn your ass around. You need to soak in some damn holy water. You American women have become so vile, lost, because you're following behind a black American woman. And it's the same thing over there on the right. Duality. The Republicans, the conservatives, and so on. God is exposing how much perversion and hypocrisy is over there. They put on a 1776 little ass shirts, showing their little muscles, shirt tucked in real tight, family trailing behind them to look like they really doing something righteous. Oh, we go to church on Sunday. We're good, upright citizens. We can do no wrong. But at night, they're on a cell phone looking at kitty porn. At night, they're on a computer typing up how they could off their wife or kill or poison their wife and get their wife up out of here. At nighttime, they're looking at little girls jerking off. Who consumes more porn than conservatives? Nobody. They are number one for pornography consumption. Look it up. But that's your idol. You love the arrogant, dismissive, divisive, dividing talking points that comes from conservatives. Who's more dividing and divisive than conservative, white Christian nationalist males? They are the source of division in this nation. They are the ones who polarize nations, polarize people, put dark skin against light skin, black against white, upper against lower. They are the ones who invented the classism of white and black. They are the ones who invented the classism of race. They are the ones who taught you that if somebody's a certain skin tone, they are unworthy of humanity. They are unworthy of fair treatment. They are unworthy of dignity. They are unworthy of civil rights. They are unworthy of respect and love. They are unworthy of what he is worthy of because he happens to be white. Where do you think this teaching comes from? And a lot of you, in your sickness, you got the nerve to be mad at the infamous because I'm pointing out to you the obvious, that your blocked heart cannot look at and observe and accept as a goddamn truth. It's something wrong with you, not me. You the goddamn problem in this motherfucker. I ain't the goddamn problem. I don't have a problem with admitting and aligning with the goddamn truth. You sick motherfuckers got the goddamn problem. You sick. It's a sickness in you to where you pretend like you don't know these things. Over 400 years. Who polarized all of the globe? Who is the Mars and Gemini over all of this globe? Setting one against the other. Turning one against the other. Divide and conquer is his tactic. It's his wisdom. It's his approach, his policy, his strategy, his methodology, his legacy is to divide and conquer, put one against the other. And you act confused as to whether or not this timeline is about the dismantling of white supremacy and feminism. It's all around if you have the wisdom to recognize it and see it, and if you have the courage to own it, if you find it to be the goddamn truth. But you're cowardly. You're cowards. It's correcting what the white man has done to this planet, to this world, out of his mind. After all, here in America, we are living out his imagination. We are living out the imagination of Khazarians and white men. That's why this world looks the way it does. It's their imagination turned outward. And we're here to heal it. Because he won't do it. He polarized this world. I didn't call myself black. He did. Who called you white? Who called Spanish-speaking people Hispanic and Latinos? Is that really who they are? No, they're Americans of the Western Hemisphere, which is where the Monroe Doctrine came from in order to control them under subjugation of these assumptions that they would be Hispanic. You the one with ignorance in your goddamn heart got the nerve to hold these assumptions and attitudes hiding in the shadows in the back on this channel. Can't show support. Can't show some participation. But you damn sure can't turn away and stop watching. You sick bastards. You some wicked motherfuckers hiding back there in the goddamn shadows. I will never go silent about it ever. I'll get louder. If you feel like I'm talking to you, then yes, I'm talking to you. Have no doubts about it. I know what time it is. My mind is free. Is your mind free? You ask yourself that the rest of this goddamn day. You ask yourself the question, is my mind free yet? I know mine is. And that's why you have a problem with me, because it scares you how free my mind is. I'm not subject to or entrenched and chained up by racism, polarization, the fear of white and the fear of black and all this foolishness, feminism. You motherfuckers are the ones who's chained up by that shit. And when you see me free from it, it scares the motherfucking shit out of you, because you don't know how to get out that goddamn chain. But you see a nigga is more free than you, and your ancestors ain't never been chained up. How the hell did that happen? How did I get free but you're not free? Gemini Uranus transit, this is a blessing for the whole world. For 7 years, it's the cleanup of the liberal extreme mindset. It's the cleanup of the democratic extreme mindset, among other things. Listen to me, among other things. It's the cleanup of that mindset. How does this mindset works? You present truth, you present evidence, you present facts, and because they're dedicated already, they're already dedicated and loyal to what they want, to their desires. They're dedicated and loyal to the relationships that they have. They're dedicated and loyal to their own ideal and concept that they want to fulfill of themselves. So they reject the truth. They sabotage the truth. They block the truth. They cancel the truth. They make fun of, they insult, they shame, they laugh and emoji to death the person where truth is coming from. They alienate the person who speaks truth. They vilify the person who speaks truth. They conjure emotional intensification against the one who speaks truth, even if it is through laughter. And Black American females are masters of that craft. No one can do it like a Black American female can do it. Her ability to pick you apart with her mouth, her ability to tear you down with her mouth, her ability to turn you into dust, to pound you into fine powder with her mouth is impeccable. Nobody can do it like she does. Nobody. You can't get on her level. It's impossible. But she teaches others how to do that. She teaches others how to use shame and insult to control. She teaches others what rebuttals to use, how to get out of the bind of being exposed, how to get out of being held accountable, how to get out of the truth leveraging itself on you. She teaches women how to do that. She teaches liberals how to use that particular type of reasoning. She teaches people how to use that dark magic against the truth. The art of disarming truth, the art of suppressing truth, the art of slowing truth down, the art of deflecting truth, the art of rejecting truth, the art of resisting truth. The Black American woman, she is the master teacher of that art. And it is why those who cling to liberalism have an interest, a personal interest, a vested interest in protecting her in the character that she stands in, knowing that it is indeed of ill repute and it is malignant. But they adopt it for themselves anyway because it gives them an artificial or superficial sense of synthetic power, synthetic leverage. It doesn't matter what facts are presented. It doesn't matter what the truth is. It doesn't matter what right or wrong is. It doesn't matter what good or bad is. I am loyal to the sisterhood. If I see a female crying, if I see a female complain, if I see a female point her finger, if I see a female make an accusation, if I see a female say somebody's bad or somebody's good, I'm going to believe her and I don't need any evidence. I don't need any proof. I don't need to know what's right or wrong. I don't have to listen to my inner child telling me, hey, you're making a mistake, go the other direction. I don't have to do that because that's a woman. No matter what, women are right. No matter what, women are on top. No matter what, women cannot be wrong. They cannot be corrected. They cannot be held accountable. We must protect women. There is a sickness in this nation with that slogan of protect women, because unfortunately the Western woman has no concept of what it means to protect a woman. If she applied that same logic to her children, she would raise citizens who would ruin the society. Narcissistic children, narcissistic citizens who know nothing about accountability, who cannot handle being examined, who cannot handle being told about themselves, who cannot tolerate being disciplined or corrected, who cannot be admonished. And it's the fact that in Western American society, women are the majority who raise the children due to the outcome of feminism. Look at what school teachers traditionally have to deal with in the public spaces with these badass American kids. They are ruthless. They cannot be controlled. They cannot be corrected. They cannot be disciplined. They are above correction. And that starts with the black American female. She is less likely even than white women to be corrected because she's a useful tool. The toxicity of the character that she stands in, it benefits Khazarians. It benefits the economy. It benefits political leveraging. It benefits the social schisms. It benefits the degeneration of children and culture and society and the family unit. Her dysfunction, her wickedness, her lack of morals and values, her lack of self-respect, her lack of reverence for her own womb, it benefits the dark agenda that is being assumed over our nation. It helps promote it. It helps mobilize it. It helps keeping it in power. For her to stand in that behavior protected by the sisterhood from ever being corrected, from ever being adjusted, from ever being held accountable. And this becomes the brand of American women who have their personal interests to make sure that she stands up there because she's the one who takes the hits. She takes the bullets. She takes the shots. While they sit back in the comfort of their convenience, their luxury. The fact that they are distanced from the front line. Put a black woman in front and we will march behind her with our voices. Just like the Jasmine Crockett's and the Ketanji Brown Jacksons. All these other useful idiots in high places. They love to see black women coming with a loud mouth. Loud but dead wrong. Disrespectful, rude, twisting of the neck. Terrible character. And you stand safely behind her because you love her in that state. You white women, you Hispanic women, you immigrants, you gays, you lesbians, you trans, all you motherfuckers that concentrate yourself on the left, who have your own personal Santa Claus wish list on the left. You put a black woman in front of you and you put a quarter in her back and you watch her go off. You're entertained by it. You feel empowered by it. And you watch her take all the pushback and hits. And you know she's dead wrong. But you will never call it out because it benefits your sick desires. You're selfish. Women are hateful of each other. No one is more hateful about women than women themselves, setting each other up for failure. Woman asks woman for advice. Woman asks woman for opinion. She would tell her the wrong thing every single time. And when it comes to spiritual or emotional matters, it's a bunch of poetic hogwash and bullshit. You walk into a woman's group, a woman's healing ceremony or some woman's healing study group. They sitting around talking bullshit. Pure bullshit. Poetry. A bunch of bullshit ass poetry that misses the point every goddamn time. That steps over the critical things every time. That avoids everything that would make the difference every time. And it's called moral commitment and accountability. A bunch of damn hogwash poems. Smeared mascara and tissue. Long drawn out, sad violin playing stories of bullshit. Women don't help women. They impair women. They distract women. They enable the worst out of women. They delude women further into the depths of delusion with themselves and their power. Misleading to women. A woman will tell another woman her outfit looks wonderful knowing she look a damn mess spilling out that motherfucker. You take your walrus ass up asking your girlfriend, how do I look in this? Oh, this is cute. And you sitting there lying to her, looking dead in her damn mind, knowing she look a goddamn mess, and you gonna send her out the door like that. You could always tell when a woman doesn't have love at home. You could tell by the way she dress. Ass and titties every goddamn where. Pussy print, nipples, jiggling all over the goddamn place. Don't nobody love you. You are loveless. Any woman that comes out in the public like that, you are loveless. There's nobody in your family that loves you. You don't have friends that love you when you walk outside bare and naked, showing all of your backside to the public, your pussy and your titties all over the goddamn place. There's nobody that loves you enough to call you and say, hey, maybe you should cover that up. Maybe you should be safer, make better decisions, respect yourself, honor yourself, carry yourself like a woman. I can't stand to see you live that way. Women are liars when it comes to women's rights. Women are liars and frauds when it comes to loving women. You are nothing but liars. No one lies to women like women does, setting you up for failure. And too cowardly to go in there and save you. Because only truth can go in there and save you. And when it comes to truth, you find a woman around that. That's like a bottle of Raid and a roach. They gonna get the hell on when the truth get to talking. They gonna get the fuck out of Dodge when the truth get to talking. You American women are full of shit. And you gotta get it together. But Gemini Uranus is going to fix that. It's going to heal that. The days of duality, it's over. It's over. Surface thinking, duality. First observation, okay. Black, white, boy, girl, good, bad, right, wrong, up, down, left, right. Okay. Spiritual, secular, politics, civics, social science, arts, humanities. None of these are related, right? They're all separate occasions. They're all separate events. You even look at the 12 houses. You look at the 12 signs. None of them are related, right? In first glance, you will look at them. None of them are related. How is Gemini related to Pisces? How is Sagittarius related to Leo? How is Taurus related to Gemini? How is first house related to fifth house? How is sixth house related to ninth house? None of these are related, right? They're all different events. They're all different worlds. They're all different experiences, right? Look at the infamous astrologist. He wants to talk about politics, social science, civics, race, gender, spirituality. And then the next moment, he's talking about love. And then the next moment, he's talking about history. And the next moment, he's talking about genealogy. The next moment, he's talking about Moors and all these other different. He can't make up his mind. He's all over the place. What is he talking about? I'm a Gemini, beloved. I'm a Gemini. And by the grace of God, I have not fallen to the limitations of duality. I found the connection between all things. I found the unification between all things. Ifa Yoruba tradition, numerology, spirituality, Islam, astrology. To me, it is one expression. To you, these are separate events because you see in duality. I found the point of unification of all things, and I can explain. What puts me in position to explain? Only one thing allows you to explain out of duality, and it is called wisdom or love. That's it. There's nothing else to talk about when it comes to Gemini. It's wisdom or love. Wisdom explains things. Love explains relationships. When there is duality presented in things, it is wisdom that gets you out of the conflict of duality. When it comes to relationships, it is love that gets you out of the conflict of duality and polarizations in love and relationships. To get to the love, you gotta go through truth. So if you a pussy, you a bitch ass nigga, you ain't never gonna know nothing about that. Only warriors can deal with truth. If you're not a warrior, you're not a certified warrior, you will never know about love. So sit your bitch ass down. Talk about something safe. This is about rising to wisdom and love. Turning our mindsets over to see through wisdom and to see through love. Yes, there are many relationship conflicts to talk about between individuals, nations, communities, demographics, hierarchies, and everything else. Do I not talk about this every day and how they all are interrelated, interconnected? And through truth, I am showing the opportunity of love. Because if we can brave truth, we can come back to unification to express love after we have healed these things at the 8th house. Do you see the full circle that comes from duality and finds itself connected again in relation to Pisces? And there goes a mystery right there. Duality, the other sign of duality, Pisces. Arriving at love. And as for wisdom, you arrive at Scorpio. You arrive at Scorpio. Through Scorpio, through Pluto, you can see the truth of matters, not as it presents itself to be. Who's the one in the right? Who's the one in the wrong? Who's the offender and who's not? Who's wrong in this situation? Who's right in this situation? Who's the good person and who's the bad person? How does justice apply in this matter? You're taking it straight from the newscasts. You're taking it straight from the cabinet members and president of who they tell you is bad and who they tell you is good, fear-mongering about Muslims, and now you send your dumb ass up here scared of Muslims, telling your dumb ass for 400 years that the black man is out to get you, he's a boogie monster, hide the women, hide your kids, but all come to find out that he's the number one pedophile in America. He's the number one pedophile that you should be hiding your kids from. He's the one that plays with kids. He's the one that sit up squinting at the computer screen looking at kiddie porn. But he wants you to think that it's the black man that's that person. He wants you to think it's him. But because you don't have no damn wisdom, your dumb, feeble-minded ass is going to believe it. You going to suck it up and believe it because it's what you told with your feeble-minded ass. You simple-minded dumbass. Use your intelligence. It's pathetic how you just lay there and turn your mind off and let somebody control your thoughts. What the hell is wrong with you? You'll never give your mind over to somebody where you just give up your ability to think. It's a sad and miserable fate to suffer. We have to arrive at wisdom. That's Pluto and Scorpio. All things channeled through Scorpio, all things channeled through Pluto to come to your conclusion. Pluto has a way of recovering the truth that's hidden, the truth that's suppressed, the truth that is not so obvious. Pluto has a way of bringing it right back up to the surface from the underworld. Pluto has a way of showing us innocence after the most evil of affairs. Pluto transmutes poison and venom into antidote, healing, and medicine. Pluto empowers us by faces us with disillusionment and limitations to our power, limitations to our control, limitations to our identity. Pluto takes us through the route of truth, harsh truth, hard truth, the burdens of truth. And if we can stomach it, if we can endure that algorithm of Scorpio to regenerate the self and empower the self in alignment with truth, we are never disempowered, and our vision is always correct. It is a Pluto vision. Shout out to Pluto vision. Shout out to Pluto vision. Let me know in the comments if you heard me say it. Pluto vision. It is a Pluto vision. You see the truth for what it is because you can endure the pains of truth. You can handle and tolerate the range of truth. which includes many things that you dislike, many things that make you uncomfortable, maybe many things that pain you, many things that disturb you, many things that traumatize you. You can stomach it. And because of that, when you see a picture, you see the truth for what it is, not what somebody wants you to see out of it. You see the reality. American people, you have become very dumb. You have become very simple-minded. You become ignorant, incapable of exercising powerful and bold thought. You are in a sad state. And if you are offended at what I'm saying, then I'm talking to you, because it applies to you. Because if it wasn't true of you, you wouldn't feel offended. So yes, I'm talking to you if you feel offended at what I'm saying. I'm talking to you. The one who feels offended at me saying this, you the one that I'm talking to with your ignorant ass. It's time to come up out of it. Wake up. Come forth, Lazarus. Recover the power of your thought. When you see an image, when you hear a story, when you hear a narrative, don't be so feeble-minded. Don't be so damn dumb. The point is not for me, as an example, as a so-called black American man. No matter what happens, I'm going to take the black side. No matter what happens, a black man is right. No matter what happens, a black woman is wrong. No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong for assuming that. I am unjust for practicing that. I'm oppressive for condoning that. I'm crippling myself and I'm crippling my sister when I fail to hold accountability to what manifests as the truth. Because the truth of the matter may have me to be the villain or the victor. It may have me to be the oppressor or the redeemer. The truth of the story may have me to be the offender or the person who's the protector. The truth of the story may have me to play whichever role. It's not for me to predetermine what side I'm going to take, who I'm going to stand up for, who I'm going to defend. I have to side and you have to side with truth and justice. You have to side and I have to side with wisdom or love out of the duality. Because the duality is nothing but a court presentation. It is a court case. And you're looking at the defendant with an assumption in your mind. You've already decided that this person is innocent. You've already decided that this person is guilty before you heard the evidence, before the affidavit is cracked, before the case was opened up, before the jury even got in the room, before you know anything. Why? Because you see a black person, you see a female, you see yourself in somebody else. So I don't care what's heard, I don't care what's concluded, I don't care what anybody says or anything. I'm just going to go with it. That's a failure to rise from duality into wisdom or love. Love corrects, love heals, and love presents the truth so that we are never disconnected from empowerment. If I really love you, I'll keep you in the truth. If I really love you, I'll tell you the truth. If I really love you, I'll be honest with you because I need you to be empowered always. It does matter the way that I say it, but I must say it. I can't love you if I don't tell you the truth. I can't be practicing wisdom if I'm looking at the surface and I haven't considered the underworld of the presentation that I'm looking at, Scorpio and Pluto. I can't judge a matter without Pluto. I can't consider what is at stake or the weight of the reality without perspective of myself in Scorpio and who I had to be in Scorpio, the shadows that I have in Scorpio, the shadows that I'm still working on in Scorpio, the evils, the darkness that I have exercised and practiced in Scorpio, the disillusionment that I had to face in Scorpio, the exposure to the range of possibilities of good and bad behaviors that I can produce from the impulses of my amygdala, fight or flight, and loyalty to myself towards survival, the corrupt and evil things that I am bound to do from my instincts, the instinctual self, the confession that I have an instinctive self that is animal-like, that seeks power and domination and control, regardless of what is right, wrong, good or bad. When I can confess these things, I can find understanding, compassion, and I can trace pathways to how this person came to this behavior, how this person came to that decision, how this person came to that outcome, or how this story unfolded the way that it did. Regardless of what's being presented to me, I have evidence in that because I have evidence in myself and who I am related with Scorpio. Therefore, I'm able to arrive at wisdom when I judge others or when I judge a situation or experience that I'm an observation of. Wisdom! Wisdom! Okay, there's a lot to cover in this subject of duality, so I'm recording these segments at different times in different parts. Hopefully it all flows together when I put it together the way that I do. I don't know, what part I'm going to put first, what part I'm going to put second, but I'm saying that here in case it seems, the whole entire message itself doesn't flow together well. But anyway, I'm going to make all the points necessary. Duality. Duality is the main point here that we're talking about, okay? Because we're dealing with Gemini. Gemini, the third house, this is where we realize that there are oppositions to be observed from the intellect, from the consciousness. This is where we become aware of or conscious of oppositions. This is where we become conscious of opposites, polarities, conflicts, differences, that there is a right hand and there's also a left hand. Okay, there's a good, there's a bad, there's a up, there's a down, there's an in, there's an out. Okay, so this is a very childlike mind that examines from this perspective of duality. Okay, duality is a perspective to examine from. It's not a conclusion to arrive at. Okay, that's the point. We are not supposed to arrive at conclusion with duality. We are to observe from duality, because the observation from duality, it points at wisdom or love, one of the two directions. You're going to hear me mention that in this discourse over and over again, okay? That from duality, what is meant to happen is we arrive at wisdom or love. You arrive at wisdom or love because you're going from the basis of observation, your intellect, cognitive theories or examinations, cognitive, reflection of your reality, and through Uranus, the higher octave of Mercury, okay, you finally arrive at wisdom through revelation, or you arrive at love through revelation, okay? Uranus is to arrive at revelation through the upper worlds, the upper heavens. Pluto is to arrive at revelation from the underworld. Pluto recovers truth, what was revealed, or what is to be revealed, or what was revealed but suppressed. Pluto recovers truth that was lost, suppressed, opposed, placed underground, hidden away, kept secret, kept away from you, okay? Truth is every person's right. Understand it. It's every person's right. And Pluto makes sure that every person has the right to observe the truth, take a perspective from the truth, consider the truth, weigh the truth, contrast the truth, or align themselves with the truth. Therefore, we are only a lie, okay? Listen, we are only a lie when we reject the truth, thinking that we fooled somebody, but really we fooled ourselves, okay? The only person you fooled is fooling yourself. You know what I mean? Because the truth is always going to present itself. Anyway, we're dealing with Uranus, which comes from the upper rather than the lower. However, Pluto is significant in this because both pathways does take us to truth. And dualities is it's a terrible limitation. And where the problem comes in at is, if I use an example, when Mars went retrograde in Gemini, okay, which was 2022, 23, North and South Node axis of South Node Libra, North Node Aries, Okay? And where are we at now? The stellium of Aries. Okay? Are you paying attention, people? Are you paying attention, people? Are you catching the patterns, people? Are we using intelligence yet, people? Okay? That's why I'm here. And that's what makes me disturbing. That's what makes me the infamous. Okay? It's like I got to apply the AED to your heart and wake y'all niggas up to get you start thinking again. Y'all motherfuckers don't think. You don't pay attention. And it's because of duality, and I can show you how. Because you've already decided in your head that, oh, I'm going to take this side. I don't care what anybody talking about. I don't care what this nigga on. I don't care what anybody's saying. I've decided that this is the side that I take. This is where my loyalty is at. This is where my truth is at. And I'm going to stick right here. I'm going to stick with my guns. What do I do every time? I come and show you that both sides is doing the same thing. I come to show you that every person's house has the same mess. Okay? That's what I'm doing. But what do you do in return for that? You get offended. You get mad. Because it forces you to have to adjust. It forces you to have to evolve. It forces you to have to make room and expand for wisdom or love to offer or invite into your life or heart. But you realize that to get to the love, you got to go through truth. To get to the wisdom, you have to go through disillusionment and transformation. And that's the part that makes me the infamous. That's the part that pisses you off about me. Okay? Is that I invite you to those two pathways. Because I show you that on the left side and the right side, they are equals. I show you that on the right side, that with the Democrats and the liberals, there's the same crisis with corruption and oppression. I show you that nobody's innocent. From the black woman to the white man, from the white woman to the Hispanic, to whoever you want to name. I am showing you we all threw trash on the ground. I'm showing you that we all polluted the environment. I'm showing you that we all have a house to clean up. I'm showing you that we all have a track record that contributed to the collective oppression that we all are suffering from. But some of your problems is that in the idea of duality, you have already chosen a side. And when you chose that side, you have decided that it's your job, it's your role to defend it and protect it no matter what. In fact, to even defend it and protect it from the consequences of truth. And this is why you cannot surround your attachments with love or wisdom. This is why you can't get to the love or wisdom with what you're claiming and clinging to, because you have already decided. You have already backed yourself into a corner. If you have limited yourself, you are unable to expand your consciousness and awareness of what meaning is unfolding through the events of life. Understand that. You fail to be able to interpret events. You see events happen, you're very limited in how you can interpret it because wisdom cannot download to a body that can't handle disillusionment. Wisdom only manifests to those who can handle disillusionment. If you can't handle disillusionment, you will not know wisdom. If you cannot realize a conflict through cognitive dissonance between what you used to believe in, what you used to subscribe to, what you used to side with, associate, identify yourself with, what you used to cling to and defend, what you used to feel you are obligated to be protective of or defensive of. If you cannot allow yourself to be exposed in such ways, you cannot get to the wisdom. And I know what it's like because I used to do the same thing. I came up in the pro-black eras. I was taught by pro-black masters. Understand, the Nation of Islam, Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad, Nuwapians, Marcus Garvey, pro-black movements, Hebrew Israelites, Morris Science Temple of America. I came from all of that, 5% Nation, the 1 to 20s, Supreme Mathematics. I came from all of that. Fuck is you talking about? I know what it's like to always take the assumption that black is right. That no matter what, there's an excuse that I could come up with to justify the behaviors, the character, the trend of legacy that the black man exacts onto society or his own reputation and image. Okay? I've been at those limitations before. I understand what it's like. I've come to be able to evolve, to be able to see that I am one part, one contribution to the reality that I like and dislike around me. Understand that. This is about expanding the view to understand that no one is exempt from scrutiny, examination, a pap smear, criticism, and honest opinion, honest feedback. No one is exempt. Now, there's certain members of the society who's been protected from that, namely females. Through feminism, and it has been strategic that women or females have been protected from that scrutiny, examination, and criticism. Right along with Khazarians. As it is right now with Khazarians, you can have no criticism about them without you having some serious consequences. White people have always been protected in this society for the 400 years that it's been named so. As I pointed out to you all, the Black American woman became protected because she has become the useful idiot of the Democratic left liberal movement. That now stands to change. She no longer will be the useful idiot of the Democratic left because they're replacing that with Hispanics, with brown-skinned people. There's been a swap. They no longer need her. They sent her home from the corporate offices, the tall skyscrapers, with her degrees packed up in boxes, because she's no longer the useful idiot. Her last year of useful idiocy was South Node Libra. Are you people catching on? Are you people paying attention to this? So there's nothing to cling to as picking a side, because it's all an illusion. It's all a play. It's all a strategy. It's all a game, and you're falling for it. And at the end of the day, look at how you participated in destroying families in America, the moral fiber of America, the identity of females, and the reverence, respect, and honor that they should have with their image, because you followed Black American females while they themselves were being used while under these delusional spells by the doggy biscuits that they were giving them since Lyndon B. Johnson. Uranus is trying to take you out of the cycles of futility in thought, of duality, those limitations. Uranus is the only one that can change the cycles of Mars. Understand that. Uranus does that. Uranus changes the patterns and cycles of Mars. Iron and zinc works together. Shango and Ogun, they work together, although they themselves are dualities. Understand that. When Uranus is present, that means the patterns, the algorithm, the strategies of Mars is being changed, because Uranus is a highlighted leading subject now through Gemini. And he's following the pathway that Mars already went into in retrograde. Wherever Mars goes in retrograde within recent years, there has been a cultural, social, and regime change based on Mars. And that was the polarization of society. That is when male versus female wars, the gender wars started to turn up. Kevin Samuels came up during that timeline, and he died very soon after his very fast, rapid motion to the top. And when he died, he became even more powerful. This is when Elon Musk took over Twitter, okay, which became the only outlet for an opposition to females' control over the expression of truth in society through cancel culture. They literally were controlling the people's ability to speak the truth. Black women and white, happy-ass, whimsical, college white women standing behind her, egging her on to do. Y'all are the ones who brought wickedness, evil, lack of morals, lack of values, corruption into this society as it relates to family and women. Women themselves destroyed women. Women themselves corrupted women. Women themselves stripped women of morals, value, integrity, respect, dignity, and honor. Women did that to women. Women objectified themselves. Women made themselves into sexual objects. And you can't stop them from making themselves into sexual objects, or they will fight you. They love to be sexual objects. They love to be lusted over. Nobody puts a gun to the head and say, show me your titties, show me your ass, show me your nipples, show me your pussy, right on the internet. They fight their way to be able to do that. And if you try to stop them, you will be judged, you will be criticized, you will be shamed, you will be laughing emoji to death until you wish you wouldn't have done it. These are illusions that are presented, and it's time to start thinking. And you have to stop believing the bullshit of females, because females will have you doubting your own wisdom just like a Jezebel does. Jezebel had, who was it, Ezekiel, questioning his own prophecy. These females will have you questioning your own logic, your own reasoning, your own intelligence. It's magic and sorcery. They are very wicked when they are not evolved and in touch with their womanhood. They are very wicked. The idea of innocence and purity and these different things that used to be associated with females, no, that has been exposed. That has been debunked. That is something that women have to actively earn and embody. You're not just going to be given innocence, beauty, purity, and all of these other things just because you got a fucking pussy. You have to earn that. You have to earn that trust. And it is very clear right now in this day and time among the collective of males that that is the case. If you didn't earn that, ain't nobody getting ready to give you that respect. If that's not what you demonstrate and exemplify, nobody's going to treat you like that. People barely even want to open doors to females anymore, and you can't blame them. You can't blame them. But the type of character, the type of behavior, the type of mindset that American and Western females have today in their culture as standardized, prostitute, escort, masculine, overbearing, disrespectful, lacking tact, lustful, self-objectifying. Nobody respects that. No. It's something to be earned. Gemini Uranus is different because this is a very honest perspective at life. It's a very honest examination of everything. Wisdom and love. Okay, so close examination of duality itself. Duality itself, how does this relate to Gemini? Okay, first house and fifth house. Okay, first house and fifth house. That's first of all, first house and fifth house. There seems to be a conflict between the experience of the self from the first house and the experience of the self from the fifth house. Fifth house has the background of the fourth house. First house has the background of the 12th house. That is the contrast. That's the depth of the first house and the fifth house, okay? So this goes along the line of Aries and Leo, Mars and the Sun. Okay, duality is presented in these two lines. Also the moon and Pisces. The moon and Neptune. Okay, so between these two, there is a duality. Your physical human experience within the material realm, the first house, okay, seems to be at odds or in conflict with what value is being expressed, what value is being noticed, what value is being applied in contradiction or favor to the soul. Okay, and so when it seems or appears to be a contradiction, it could be judged as wrong. When it seems or appears to be something favorable or beneficial, it could be judged as right, good, bad, okay, true or false. But we're using one eye to judge the matter. Okay, let me give you an example. I meet a girl I really like, from my first house, okay, Mars, all right, first house, Aries, Mars. From my first house, I like how she affects my ego, okay? She causes my ego to zoop all the way up into the sky. Boom, I feel like I'm the biggest, strongest man in the world, okay? Sexual attraction, all of these different things, feeling all good, all of the physical aspects of her. I judge it as a good relationship, a good person, a good choice, a good pick. Okay? So in duality, the duality presents itself when I cling to that meaning. But I didn't open the second eye that looks at the soul. Okay? Is it fulfilling to be with her? Does it edify my soul to be with her? Does it complement my mission and my purpose to be with her? Is it part of the fulfillment of my life, okay, to be with said person or this type of person? You see what I'm saying? So I have to look with both eyes, the interests of the flesh, the interests of the soul, the application to the physical self and the application to the spiritual self. Okay? And so what may seem good in flesh could be a misfortune in the soul, the spirit, or the karmic debt that's being incurred as I'm with this person. Let's say I become, reckless with this person. I get distracted from my dreams and my purpose because I'm so caught up in the clouds and lust and all this other stuff. Or, she's just flattering me to death. So I'm just all up in the sky and, I just abandon, certain things that might be a priority or things that would be wise of me to consider. So I'm losing the sight of love because I'm losing the sight of what is in best interest to the soul. So I'm losing sight of love. Okay, remember, duality always rises to wisdom or love. Okay, so if I'm going to consider the sight of love out of the duality, I have to consider both aspects of the self, which is the physical self and the spiritual self, the first house and the fifth house, the sun placement and the Mars placement. Okay, the Mars placement is usually going to present opposition. It's usually going to present confrontation, battles, things that you have to resist or fight against. And when you look at those things that you are in opposition to, on surface level, it seems this is bad for me. We will judge and we will say, oh, this is bad for me. This is not good. This can't be good. There's these arguments, there's these conflicts, there's these problems, there's these enemies, there's these antagonists, and so on and so forth. That's looking with one eye. But if I look with the other eye, I'm able to see that there are spiritual opportunities in learning how to make peace out of this conflict and learning how to create peaceful outcomes out of this situation and learning how to operate through justice to get to the peace in these conflicts that I'm having with people, and learning how to operate through truth to get to the love and what I seem to be in conflict with in the physical realm with other persons in relationships. Okay, so there's relationships and there's things. Relationships gets forwarded from duality into love. Okay, things gets forwarded from duality, or circumstances gets forwarded from duality into wisdom. Okay, so if it's conflict with things, or I'm looking for the wisdom, and I have to go through Scorpio to get to the wisdom. That means I have to accept disillusionment of the reality of the circumstances that I find myself in, the experiences that I find myself being affected by negatively. Okay, and Mars, the higher octave of Mars, we know that would be Pluto. Okay, Pluto's algorithm is Scorpio. Scorpio and Pluto is what regenerates or resurrects, okay, the ego death of, the Mars aspect of the self, first house in Aries. Okay, so that's how we get to the wisdom and what seems to be at conflict or odds with the physical experience of the flesh dense self. That's how we get out of that duality limitation and perception. We have to accept disillusionment. We have to accept that we come to the limitations of our power. We have to be willing to share power. We have to realize and understand and come to the maturity that authority must be coexistent with power. Therefore, without Saturn, I can only abuse power. So I have to take a different look once I correct those things. I have to take a different look once I find that humility, once I find the ability to accept disillusionment, the cognitive dissonance that it takes me down in a pathway of meeting my shadows, in which I can surrender in order to regenerate and find new empowerment for myself, the truthful way, the real way, instead of becoming narcissistic, overbearing, or dominant. Understanding, okay? And so we arrive at wisdom, and this wisdom allows us the power of Pluto. And the power of Pluto is to see things as they are, not as it presents itself to be. You are seeing through the illusion of surface display, surface cosplay, surface acts, surface presentations. And now you become a person who can't be lied to. Now you become a person who's able to see the truth through the surface presentation of things. And this is what I do through Pluto from the third house, which anytime you listen to my recordings, you are listening to the conjunction of Pluto and Saturn at Libra, okay, which is to harmonize, find the balance, find the commonality, find the justice in the situation. Libra, understand, balance the scales in what's being observed. And through Pluto, we get to wisdom. Understand that. Looking at the wisdom of things instead of the surface value of things. And this is why I take matters that you have already judged, you have already formed an opinion about, you have already picked a side about, you have already decided on, you have already clinged to inside of your belief system, and I present you an alternate argument. I play the role of the lawyer, which is Libra. Libra, Pluto, Saturn conjunction. That's the lawyer. I play the role of the attorney. I give you the attorney's argument against what you have claimed is the truth, against what you have claimed is the case, or is the conclusion to take in the court of duality. And I show you that your duality requires one more eye to open so that you can have depth perception. And in that depth perception, you're able to arrive at either wisdom or love in your conclusion if you have the courage to move through truth to get to love on the other side when it comes to what you have been concluding about your experiences in relationships, rather it's personal and intimate, or rather it's in the collective demographic of your reality and society, and what you have been hearing in politics and cosplay of different headlines and such. That we're not so fast to come to conclusions, but that we start allowing wisdom to be a part of how we conclude, but knowing what steps this has to take in order for that to happen, not being so damn simple-minded, so fucking dumb. And it's challenging because you have to look like the bad guy until people can catch up. You have to look like the evil monster until people can wake the fuck up and start taking control of their mind, start taking back their power with their intellect. Being intelligent. To be intelligent, a college degree cannot make you intelligent. I'm sorry. It can't. Your college degree cannot make you intelligent. Coming out of duality makes you intelligent. And as I explained to you, it is a spiritual process to find your way out of duality to where you have real, active, powerful intelligence, a scary intellect that is something that nobody wants to fuck with. You become dangerous then because you found yourself out of the loop. Real intelligence. Powerful intellect. Because the heart and the head is not in disagreement. The heart and the head is not in conflict. It's to harmonize the perspective of the heart and the head. That the soul sees something just as the flesh sees something. The soul is weighing something and the flesh is weighing something. Someone who may not feel good to me may be the best person for me. Someone who may feel really good to me may be the worst person of my life to ever be in a relationship with. That is a presentation of duality that has risen to wisdom and love. If you really love yourself, instead of being with the person who gives you all these butterflies and you love how they match their hat and their swagger and all these other things, you just get caught up in the rays of light in the sun and you just all up in this rapture of childlike energy that you think is love. No, you're not considering your soul. And to consider your soul in relationships when it comes to love, you have to go through truth. And if you consider truth, you have to bring Pluto with you too. You've got to bring Pluto with you. And if you bring Pluto and you look again, you have to look from the strength and resilience of the 8th house. You have to look from the algorithm of Scorpio, and that is a brave look at reality. And when you have a brave look at reality, you're brave enough to choose love for yourself. And when you choose love for yourself, it may mean that you're willing to sacrifice certain things in order to take care of yourself, in order to take care of your soul, in order to guarantee security to your inner child and to your soul. So it may inconvenience you to be with the proper person. It may discomfort you and make you feel very vulnerable to be with someone who will really cause you to grow. To put yourself in circumstances, environments, situations, institutions that you know is going to better you and improve you. That is to really look at yourself in love. That is really to look at life in love. That is really to look at other persons in love. You see that little child, you see the son and his father walking down in the park, and the son falls off the bike and starts crying. And at surface level of duality, you want to judge him as being bad because he didn't rush to pick the child up, and the child is crying in tears, reaching for his father, and his father just stands right there looking at him with a blank stoic face. And you already ruled that he's a bad person. There's something wrong with him. Oh, this guy is evil. He's cold. Why don't you run for your son? Well, dumbass, why don't you slow down and get back to the wisdom? Follow Pluto into your conclusion, which is simple-minded, feeble-minded ass. Perhaps the father is teaching him self-restraint. Perhaps the father is sitting there right now curing him of his lack of confidence. Perhaps the father is standing there making sure that out of love, I want to make sure that you will be okay if you should get injured, if you should fall, to realize that you don't have to stay down. You do have the option to get the fuck back up. Maybe that's being a good father. Maybe being a good father is not rushing to pick him up, letting him bleed a little bit, letting him cry a little bit, letting him walk around proud of the bruises and cuts and scrapes that he has. Maybe you should shut the fuck up and learn how to look a little deeper with your simple, feeble-minded ass. Has this not happened plenty of times where women take full control of the children? Don't want the father to say anything, and then the child turned out fucked up and all weird and strange, weak, bitch-made, soft as cotton? It happens every day because of duality. Love is accessible if you could brave truth. Wisdom is accessible if you could brave resilience, disillusionment, cognitive dissonance, ego deaths. They both have different approaches. Wisdom includes both the soul and the flesh. Love includes both the soul and the flesh. Out of love for yourself, you may deny yourself a little pleasure in order to have growth and evolution. You may deny yourself convenience in order to have growth, discipline, strengthening, and stability in your life. Instead of abusing yourself with the Barbie doll girl who you know is going to divorce you and take all of your money later on as she moves in monkey branches to the next man, why would you abuse yourself like that? Why not practice self-love, catching the patterns and using your intellect, Mercury, Gemini, Uranus, observation, recognizing the patterns, the Pallas Athena, and get you a regular girl who you know is going to probably have a better capacity of focus and appreciation of you. This shit ain't rocket science. It ain't fucking rocket science. How do you love yourself? How do you love other people? Being able to be a good judge between pleasure and security. Being a good judge between the soul's best interests and the flesh's best interests. That sometimes the soul can be in conflict with the flesh, and the flesh can be in conflict with the soul. But the priority must always be to the soul's evolution. Knowing how to judge between the two. Interpreting life in the same way. You hear a headline and you go headlong into a conclusion about it, but there's no reflection inside of yourself about who you are through Scorpio, who you are through Pluto, who you are through these algorithms of spiritual being and expression. Because through Scorpio and through Pluto, we realize that we all have shadows. We realize who we are when our amygdala is in charge, when our amygdala is calling the shots and not our conscious mind. We realize what type of decisions that we can make when we are full of fear, when we are full of panic, when we are in survival mode. We realize the lies that we tell, how we panic, how we manipulate, how we strategize, even against our own karmic depths, or against our own karmic capacity. We understand these things, and if we can be transparent and have enough humility to admit these things about our own nature, we have the ability to understand that that nature is in the next person, knowing that there's not a surface conclusion to take. But with all things in consideration, I can understand how that person could have come to that outcome, to that decision, or manifest that particular behavior. So what the news is telling me can't possibly be true, because that's not how a human functions. That's not how human behavior works. I know myself, so I know that. All this propaganda going around, it's 13% of the population, but 82% of the crime in America. Okay, if they have something going on in their house, that means you got something going on in your house. What's inside your house? Pedophilia? Playing with little babies? Playing with little boys? Yeah. That's what white men, not all white men, but that's what y'all known for doing. You're the number one in the nation. And a white woman along with them. You will never find the recorded numbers, data, and statistics of white women who get pregnant by middle school and elementary school age boys. You will never find the data. Why? Because America is designed to protect the white woman. and no one else. There's nobody else in this nation who America is designed to protect except her. She is the only one who America is designed to protect. The only one. Nobody else has that privilege except for her. And if you go try to look up this statistical information and data, you will not find it. You just have to be the type of person, such as myself, who catches patterns. Because at all times, I am paying attention to patterns. Because I'm always present in observation. I am good at picking up patterns. And one thing about white women, when they are school teachers, there is a legacy and a pattern of them getting pregnant by their students. So there's a point of equality between themselves and white males who have this reputation of pedophilia that runs in the legacy of their household. The thing that I'm pointing out is duality does not really exist. If it is this, then it is that. You guys do this and you guys do that. Guess what? All of us have some dirt in the house that we got to clean up. There is no good side and bad side. There is no right side and no wrong side. As your finger is pointing at somebody else, guess what? You got some shit that you got to clean up too, and it's just as bad. It is just as bad. Alright, so, conclusion. Well, this might be the conclusion, because, I made a couple separate recordings here, and I had to compile it together. But anyway, first house, fifth house, Aries and Leo, Mars and Sun. This is where the duality is taking place. All right? At least this is the basis of duality within your natal chart. And you have to harmonize it. What is trine to Gemini? Okay? What is trine to Gemini? Libra. Therefore, Libra consciousness and algorithm will be favorable for you in this. Also Aquarius. Aquarius consciousness and algorithm is favorable in your perception of this. All right? Now, it very well could be that Libra perception, it helps you to balance the scales between the heart and the head. And Libra is the way that you go about doing that, as well as the seventh house. So you want to look at the relationship between Libra, seventh house, to find how to harmonize a balance between heart and head. Finding your way out of the loop, the Mars loop, the limitation of perception. Okay? How to align or show up for what Uranus is trying to show you out of the futility in the duality. Look to Aquarius and the 11th house. These energies will help you to rectify that crisis. It'll help you to deal with that crisis. Pluto is present in Aquarius, therefore, it's also going to take disillusionment. You have to be willing to accept cognitive dissonance. You have to take the ego hit that what you thought was true, what you thought was the way, what you thought was right, what you assumed that you were thinking and believing all this time, you may have to bury it. You may have to adjust it. You may have to evolve it. But don't let your ego be the reason why you can't die and come back alive. Death only means it's a point of resurrection. It's not the end. Come on, people. What Uranus is going to do in Gemini is going to examine to where you have a habit of assigning authority to other gods, assigning authority to other people, that it's inappropriate for you to do that. When you're judging, examining, coming to a conclusion, trying to name or classify what you get in a cognitive read of, what meaning you're trying to extract. The reading of the heart, okay? Because that's what Mercury is there to do, to read the heart. Mercury is closest to the sun. The sun is the heart. Mercury has a job of reading and articulating and bringing into words and cognition the heart. What is expressing from the heart? Putting it in words. There's a disruption to that authentic process. When you have a view, an opinion, when you have a perception of something, and you stick to the sisterhood to be authorized to tell you what to think. You stick to the sisterhood to tell you what to feel. You stick to the sisterhood to tell you how to interpret this event or this experience or this news headline. You stick to the sisterhood to know what you should put emotional energy behind. And here you go as a useful idiot, causing all of us trouble while you thought you were fighting for something. It's these mechanisms that are the root of the problem of why Palantir is so successful, Khazarian's schisms through media is so successful, why media warfare is so successful, why we are so easy to program and turn in any direction, set us against each other, because your dumb ass want to take authority and assign it to the sisterhood, the corrupt sisterhood, and here you go like a bunch of fucking birds sitting on top of a telephone pole, and you just copy each other. You have no original thought in your damn wig whatsoever. Nothing about you is original. Everything that come out your mouth is a poetry, some regurgitated bullshit that you'd have heard some other female say. And you just spew it out because you feel confident behind the group being behind you, the group thing, the system being in your favor. All of that stops now. You're going to have to figure out how to think for your damn self. Because that's a problem. You want women's empowerment? Yeah, how about learning how to think for your damn self? And you can't hide behind no college degree. You can't hide behind your looks and how cute you are, how pretty you are. Don't none of that help you to be more intelligent or refined in your thought process, to recover the power of original thought. None of it. It don't help you in that. That's not improving you. This is a spiritual matter that you have to get under control. You got to get down to the bottom of. You females out there have got to monitor yourself and make sure that you have finally learned how to stand on your own when it comes to thinking. Using your own damn head. A bunch of parrots. You listen to what other females and you just start copying what the fuck other bitches is saying. And you feel safe behind that. Y'all ain't tired of this shit? You ain't tired of looking the exact same way, being on call with every damn thing, saying some of the dumbest ass shit that could ever be fathomed or thought of in the universe, but because all other females is doing it, you feel safe in it. You feel justified. You feel like you don't have to be exposed or examined for the dumb ass shit that come out your motherfucking mouth. For the stupid, retarded ass shit that you put your support behind. You should give somebody in your family power of attorney, write them out a check, put a helmet on, sit on a little ass bus, beep beep, right outside, lick the windows and pick your boogers for the rest of your goddamn life, if that's what you're gonna do with your retarded ass. You actually enjoy walking around knowing you just being a dumbass bitch? You can't even think for yourself? You actually take pride in that shit, the sisterhood? You can't see the corruption of the sisterhood? You can't see the problem in the sisterhood. You can't see how toxic the sisterhood. You can't see that the sisterhood is the main thing that's destroying you women. It's the very thing that took everything away from you that you love to enjoy as women. You can't see that? Where the fuck is your brain at? How did you get all them college degrees and you still dumb? How the fuck you get all them college degrees and bitch you still fucking dumb? How? How do you go all them degrees and you still dumb? You don't want to save yourself from that? I swear to God. Ladies, I don't think y'all know what love really is. I'm telling you. Anybody can put on the act of what you think love is. Anybody could play that role. Anybody could put a mask on and tell it to you the way you want to hear it. Tell you what you want to hear. Yeah. But it don't mean it's going to be love. It's simply what you want to feel through the experience of others. But it's not love. You ladies better learn what love is. You better learn. You better figure it out what love is, because we all need love. And love is always with truth. Newsflash. One thing you could bet on with Uranus and Gemini is Uranus gets us straight to the wisdom. It gets us straight to the love. But it does so suddenly. It does so through shock of revelation. It does so through disruptions that results in that. It does so in sudden change that results in that. Sudden realizations out of nowhere, flash of light, and boom, oh my God, I see. You know what? I'm catching on to the pattern here. You understand? And so Uranus is here to get us straight to wisdom and love out of the conflicts and crisis of duality that we were learning from as a catalyst from the Mars retrograde transit in Gemini 2022-2023, if I have that timeline correct. And that was consistent with the lessons of South Node Libra and Capricorn Pluto exit, okay? Which is why I kept bringing those themes up, okay? We're finally coming out of this toxic polarization that we've been subject to, but it was a learning catalyst. And now all of that has to ascend to wisdom and love frequency. Wisdom and love frequency is not some whimsical, poetic, natured, thing that you fucking feminists like to describe. That shit fucking irritates me. All this poetic bullshit that you go around spreading all and smearing all over the place, and nobody knows how to fucking get there. That's like I ask you, yo, how do I get to the gas station from here? And you tell me, yeah, there's a beautiful flowery garden down there and blah, blah, blah. And I drive by, it's a dog pissing on a fucking flower among a whole bunch of fucking trash. Bitch, you ain't told me about the fucking trash and the dog pissing on it on the way over there, but you described it as a fucking flower bed. Fuck out of here with that shit. Tell the fucking truth. Stop lying so goddamn much. God damn, we don't get nowhere with these fucking poems and shit, man. Stop bullshitting the people. God damn. I can't do all the heavy lifting by my motherfucking self. Y'all niggas gonna have to roll up your sleeves and get dirty. Help out. Stop watching the nigga do the heavy lifting by yourself. Stop watching me labor by myself. Take all the risks by myself. Take all the smoke by myself. Be the bad guy by myself. Y'all bitch-made motherfuckers gotta get up and take some smoke too. Because the people need you. The people need you. But you sitting there in your comfort, hiding away from all the smoke that's to be got, nigga. It's smoke out here. And you gotta come get some. Because they're not gonna like you for coming to heal them. They're not gonna like you when you come to heal them. They're not gonna like you when you come to love them. They're not gonna like it. Not if you're real. Not if you're real. Coming out of the loop